Coming up on this week's Weird News, we have stories about marrying your pet, a Burger King wedding, alcohol missed, and a bumper for a dog.
And now it's time for this week's Weird News with Daniel Bryan.
Good afternoon and welcome to this week's Weird News, the podcast. Your home for weird and wonderful news from around the world, and as well as some new up-and-coming music artists. You join us today for episode 21, where today we have 4 new weird and wonderful news stories for you, as well as more TWWN music later, where we actually feature our first band. And this band, they're a big one, so stay tuned for that later. So, if you missed episode 20 last week, here's a summary of what you missed. On our last show, our first story was about a man who suffers from sleepwalking and has managed to get himself into some interesting and rather bizarre situations. Our second story was about a flower in Cambridge that only flowers once every 10 years. And when it does, it emits a foul, rotten smell. Our third story was about a man who had a liver transplant from an African-American donor and is claiming that it's turning his skin colour black. And our final story was about a student who got a parking fine and decided to pay it completely in pennies. If you missed it and any of that sounds interesting and you want to find out a little bit more about those stories, find it on our website at www.thisweeksweirdnews.com or download the podcast from all the major platforms. But now, on to today's show, when it's time for the weird and wonderful news from the last week that you may have missed. Our stories today come from week 30, 2015, or, as some of you may prefer, the 20th to the 26th of July.
Story number 1.
Dominique Lesbrielle was devastated at the loss of her husband of 16 years to kidney failure. However, she has now moved on and found love again with her new partner Travis. This week, she has expressed plans to marry her new partner Travis and is immensely happy. But the story gets a little bit more weird and bizarre when you consider her first husband, Dorak, was a cat, and that her new husband Travis is actually a dog. Her first husband, Dorak, sadly had to be put down at the age of 19, and Dominique was affected really badly as a result of it. She doesn't want to remarry just yet, as she feels it's too soon after the death of the cat, and it would be disrespectful. Dominique has had Travis the dog for years, and he was originally a stray and rescued from Greece. The upcoming marriage will be done through marryyourpet.com, which was actually set up by Dominique herself in 2003, and the site now has several thousand visitors each day. And as a result, several couples a month lawfully get married to their pets. The actual ceremonies themselves take place in a virtual chapel online, where they exchange their vows, and the couple click a button to say, "I do." Dominique is happy to marry people to their pets, and sends them a nice marriage certificate after. But there are still rules, and not everyone gets approval. One of the rules is that she only marries people to domestic pets, and they have to prove that they are truly in love. Unlike other marriages, there is no divorce. This is not an option, so she really wants people to consider it before taking this level of commitment with their pet. So at some point in the near future, Dominique will take her second husband and make these vows to him. So what do you think? Should this be allowed, or is it a bit barking mad? Or do you think it's just perfect? Get in touch with some of your views.
Story number 2.
A couple in the US got married this week, but it didn't cost them anything. In fact, it was actually paid for by Burger King. So, what do you have to do to get an international burger chain to pay for your wedding? The couple became friends when they were only 10 years old, and they've been together ever since. Now, 10 years on, they've decided to tie the knot. The couple have had the nickname Burger King for as long as they can remember. The name came as a result of their surnames. Joel has the surname Burger, and Ashley has the surname King, hence the resulting Burger King. To announce their engagement, they posed in front of a Burger King sign and someone at Burger King obviously noticed and got in touch with the couple. The couple, however, sadly have not decided to go for a double-barreled surname, and are now Mr. and Mrs. Burger. But they admit to everyone they know they'll always be known as Burger King. The wedding ceremony was fairly traditional, except for a few Burger King additions. The bride and groom both posed in Burger King crowns, and the best men all had Burger King t-shirts under their suits. Guests were given their own hats and greeted with a giant Burger King sign on arrival. Every guest was also given a $10 Burger King voucher. So, if you were with someone whose surname would relate to a fast food restaurant or some other chain, would you run a mile, or do you think this couple were rather clever and managed to get a free wedding out of it? Get in touch with your views, and all the best to Mr. and Mrs. Burger. You can become part of this week's Weird News. This section of the show could be dedicated to you. Sponsor the show and we can fill this section with a tailor-made advert just for you. Reach your audience in a different way with the power of a podcast. We are open to your ideas, so get in touch at thisweeksweirdnews@gmail.com. Get on board with us now as our listeners grow and we can reach more and more subscribers together.
Story number 3.
Are you a fan of cocktails? Be it a pina colada or a Long Island iced tea? Well, if you are, a new art installation may be right up your street. The creators have managed to transform popular cocktails into a fine mist using some powerful humidifiers to create a cloud made of 1 part alcohol to 3 parts mixer. The resulting effect is an alcoholic weather system. The idea is that approximately after 40 minutes of being in the room, it's the same as actually drinking one of the drinks. However, the alcohol is absorbed through your lungs and your eyelids, instead of being drunk. The creators have drawn up a menu consisting of spirits and beers, so everyone should find something that they fancy. Entrants to the bar will be asked to wear a special protective suit to protect their clothing from becoming soaked from the humidity. However, before you get too excited, visits are restricted to 1 per day, so it doesn't get too rowdy. Each visit lasts about an hour. The timings have been carefully calculated to make sure it's safe for visitors, taking into account ratio of spirit to mixer, room size, number of people in the room, air change, lung capacity, and the rate of alcohol absorption. So, would you like to visit? It would definitely be an unusual experience that could be quite interesting. So, get yourselves down to London to check it out.
Story number 4.
Now a story about some weird but very wonderful DIY. A user on Reddit has put up some photos of his dog that had developed cataracts, and as a result had been getting increasingly blinder. The owner of the 13-year-old dog was worried that he would walk into things and potentially hurt himself. He also said that the dog was not his usual happy self, as he believed that the dog feared bumping into things and didn't know where he was going. Well, the owner has come up with the answer and developed a new collar for the dog that incorporates a round band that protrudes out in front of the dog to act like a bumper. Being a strip of metal bent into a semicircle means the dog can still get to its food and water when required. But when he's walking about, the bumper takes any impact for anything he walks into. The bumper itself is then fixed to a sort of harness collar which keeps it out in front of the animal at all times. They now reckon that the dog is a lot happier and his tail is wagging away like it used to. So although sad that this dog has lost his sight, he can now adapt to his surroundings with the help of this little modification from his owner. And now he's happier than ever. And there we have it. This week's 4 news stories that we hope you enjoyed enough to tell your friends and to get in contact with the show. Please send comments to
email thisweeksweirdnews@gmail.com
or go to any of our social media pages.
Comment on Facebook at facebook.com/thisweeksweirdnews or on Twitter @weeksweirdnews.
Or you can go to our website where you'll find more about the show. To do this, go to
www.thisweeksweirdnews.com.
But now, it's time for TWWN Music.
TWWN Music.
TWWN Music is the section of the show where we showcase up-and-coming talent in the music world and play one of their new original tracks. Then, if you like what you hear, You can check them out further from our website and listen to some of their other work, or even buy their album. TWWN Music was launched back on episode 10 as a new feature to mark us getting to our first milestone episode. And since then, we have featured some brilliant artists, and I have personally loved all of them. I've so far been searching online and bringing them forward to showcase with our audience. However, if you are an artist or band and you would like to be featured on a forthcoming TWWN Music, get in touch at thisweeksweirdnews@gmail.com. So who have we got today? Well, today we have our first band, and the song is called Everything. The band in question is called AHMIR, and I discovered this band a few weeks ago, and I've been listening to their songs on YouTube, and I think you're going to like them. Going through all of their songs online, I've not found a bad song yet, so I think they're going to be something special. AHMIR are a 4-piece boy band from the US, and are currently the #1 R&B group on YouTube. And they've even been played on the Jimmy Fallon show in the US, where he heard them singing in a room near to the studio, and he decided he had to have them on the show. They've done loads of great covers on YouTube, so if you check out their YouTube channel, you'll be able to listen to all those, as well as the original songs, like the one we're going to play today. The band itself, they still have standard everyday jobs, and they admit they didn't grow up in the best areas in the US, but they were given a chance, and they took it, to make their lives better and to sing together as AHMIR. Their current YouTube subscriber count is in the range of 440,000, so I think you'll agree they must be doing something right. So check out our website at www.thisweeksweirdnews.com and go to our TWWN music page to see the video for Everything and check out their social media links. And don't forget to go subscribe to their YouTube channel, where you'll find lots more videos and songs from them. So thank you for listening, and we'll be back next time for more weird and wonderful news from around the world. Now, to play us out, it's AHMIR with Everything. You're going to enjoy this one.
So lonely, so broken, out here in this cold, cold world. Was feeling so low, and then I met this crazy girl. You gave me life when I was running out. Oh, you're the reason that I'm healing now. You can call on me. You taught me how to love. You deserve everything. You should want, and you should need. Baby, no matter what, you deserve everything. Everything, 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 everything. I started to question, was there something wrong with me? I feel so neglected. Is alone my destiny? But then it came and turned my world around. Oh, you showed me what it's like above the clouds. You can call on me. You taught me how to love. You deserve everything. You should want, and you should need. Baby, no matter what, you deserve everything. Too silly, too honest, too strange for love to find me. My heart was so empty. You found the love inside of me. So now I'm giving you everything. Girl, you deserve it all. Baby, you can call. You can call on me. You taught me how to love. You deserve everything.
Join us next time for more weird and wonderful news from around the world. Only on this week's Weird News. Goodbye.